Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Simone here. So I've been to the library again and I have so many books that I'm splitting this video into two. So this is my library haul part 1 and then my next video will be my library haul part 2, or I might put a video up in between, but who knows, there'll be 2 of them. I have so many books, this is actually ridiculous at this point, but I like reading, so I don't care. Okay, let's get started. The first book that I have is a book that I've been meaning to read for ages. Everybody talks about it on BookTube and I still haven't read it. I'm also planning on reading Six of Crows this month, so I feel like I should get around to this one as well. And it is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, which is the first book in the Grisha trilogy. I don't really know anything about this book apart from that it's part of the Grisha trilogy and that everybody said it's great. I know that being a Grisha means that you have some kind of powers, so I guess that the main character is probably learning that she's she's a Grisha. I don't know anything else honestly about it. Again, I've heard great things, so I'm really interested to get around to this one. And I've heard that you're supposed to technically read this before Six of Crows, but I reckon I'm going to read Six of Crows first. But we'll find out, who knows. Yeah, so I'm excited. The next book that I got is a thriller, like a psychological thriller. I can't remember whose channel I heard about this on, but it is The Leaving by Tara Altebrando. I think that's how you say it. And this is about 6 5-year-old children who go missing, and then 5 of them come back but the other one doesn't, and they can't remember where they have been or who took them. But it's about trying to find out where the other one is that's still missing. I love psychological thrillers, I love thrillers in general. Like, this sounds really fascinating to me. I also love this cover, like that one of them is broken, of these swings. Yeah, so this is definitely one that I'm excited to read. I've also never heard of Tara Altebrando before, so I'd be interested to read to find out if I like her writing. Next up is another psychological thriller that I've heard loads of people talk about, and that is You by Carolyn Kepnes. I really like the cover of this one. I kind of prefer it to the other one I've seen. But this is supposedly about, it's written in second person, so it's written like you, or I want you, I am watching you kind of thing. And it's written from the perspective of a stalker who is stalking a woman. And I've heard lots of people say that it's kind of creepy because you start to sort of feel for the guy who is the stalker, which I can kind of understand why you would. I think this is going to be definitely interesting. I've never read a book in second person before, so I'm going to be interested to find out how I find that. And yeah, I've heard lots about this, so it's definitely a good priority for me. Next up is one I'm very excited about, and I have finally decided I'm going to read my next Stephen King book. And it's going to be this massive book. Like, look at this, it's ridiculous. I think this is over, let me find out how many pages it is. 880 pages. It's actually heavy to hold up. It's even bigger than the last book that I read, which was 11/22/63, which was huge. And yeah, this is even bigger. But this is Under the Dome, which I think I've watched the first couple of episodes of the TV series and I really liked it. So it's about a town who have suddenly had this kind of invisible dome appear over the town, and to the point where like somebody's arm gets cut off because they're on the inside of it and their arm's on the outside of it, and basically their food and water and things start to run out, and obviously they can't get out of the dome to find food and stuff, so they have to figure it out themselves. Again, like I say, I've watched the first few episodes of the TV series that I absolutely loved, so I really want to read this, and I have been adoring Stephen King. I've read 2 of his books now and I absolutely love both of them, so yeah, I'm interested to read this. Again, it is huge, so I'm kind of intimidated, but I also really want to read it, so I guess I'll do that and get back to you on it. Then I have a book that everyone is talking about right now, because the final book in the series in the trilogy has just come out, and I haven't even read the first one, so I've got that here. It is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas, which I believe is a kind of loose retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and it follows the main character Feyre, who kills a fae, I believe, and they then take her to live with them in order for her to sort of not be killed, I suppose. And her captor is Tamlin, who I'm guessing is supposed to be the Beast. So yeah, this sounds really interesting. I know a lot of people have said that the second one is better than the first, but you know, you've got to read the first one to get to the second. And I love Beauty and the Beast, so I think this could be interesting. I've never read a Sarah J Maas book, I don't think, because I haven't read Throne of Glass yet. So this is going to be a new experience for me, and I'm very excited. And because clearly I've decided to just read books from all of the authors that everybody talks about that I've never read before, I have also got The Archived by Victoria Schwab. I know that she is really up there on people's lists at the minute because she keeps, I think she just did, is it Gathering of Shadows? Dark Shade of Magic? I don't know, she's done a lot of books anyway. But this is, I believe, one of her first ones, and it's about a library. I believe it's about kind of like a library where instead of books there is the souls of dead people. Not 100% sure, but I think that's what it's about. Either way, I'm excited for this. Again, I've never read Victoria Schwab's writing before. I know I've seen a lot of interviews with her on YouTube, and she sounds like a really cool person, so I'm interested to find out what she writes. It's not a very big book either, so it's not like I'm going to be slogging through another one. But yeah, I'm excited to read this one. I do realise I've said I'm excited to read a lot of these books, but generally it's because I got them out of the library and I wanted to read them, so yeah. You understand, I'm sure. Next, in the same vein, is my first Brandon Sanderson book. I have got up here somewhere, here it is, The Final Empire, which is the first book in the Mistborn series. I don't know if it's trilogy or not. But here I have The Way of Kings Part 1 by Brandon Sanderson. I believe that The Way of Kings was split up into Part 1 and Part 2 because it was such a massive book. Like, this already in itself is nearly 600 pages, so I guess if it's another part of it, this book would be huge, and I don't know that I would even want to try and carry that around. But this is part 1 of book 1 in the Stormlight Archive series. I've heard many good things about Brandon Sanderson. I know a lot of people love him. I haven't got a clue what this book is about, but I am going to read it and find that out. Up next I have book 2 in the Lunar Chronicles, which is Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. I read Cinder last year, loved it. It's basically the retelling of Cinderella, but Cinder was a cyborg, and I really enjoyed that one, and I said I wanted to get around to the next one soon because I know there's 4 in the series and the series is complete now. So yeah, I thought that Scarlet was the next one. I think it's the second one, so I want to read that as well. So that's just kind of a continuation, I believe, of the first one. And I believe Scarlet is about Red Riding Hood, or kind of the retelling of Red Riding Hood. So yeah, that's going to be interesting because I haven't really read a retelling of Red Riding Hood, I don't think. So I'm looking forward to it. Next up, I have The School for Good and Evil by Soman Chinani. My sister loves this series, and so I decided to pick up the first one. This basically follows 2 girls, one who thinks that she'll end up going to the school for good and one who thinks she'll go to the school for evil. When it comes to it, they end up going to the opposite school. So the good one thinks she ends up going to the evil school, and the one thinks she ends up going to the good school. I don't know. That was very interestingly explained. And then I also believe they're best friends, so that's interesting. I love stuff set in schools. I thought this would be interesting. Again, my sister recommended this to me, so I'm going to read it and find out what I think. So I believe there's 3 in this series as well, so this is the first one again. I'm reading a lot of books like the first in series. And the final book for this part 1 of my library haul is The Northern Lights by Philip Pullman, which is the first of a trilogy, I do believe, the His Dark Materials one. I have seen a lot of people talking about this. Lauren in the Books recently did a, she read this recently, and it's one of her favourite books, I think. This, I've never read it. I've heard loads about it. I feel like I should have read it by now, so I got it out of the library so I could read it. Also, I used to be obsessed with polar bears when I was younger. Honestly, I had polar bears everywhere, so I feel like the cover of this is just perfect for me. And that is the first part of this library haul. I hope that you liked this video. Tune in next time for my second part. Subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss out, and also click the notification bell so that you don't miss it, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys!